All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. And if you have not shared any of these episodes yet to your friends or your family that may need them, you're not the only business owner that's probably listening or should be listening. Not just to me, obviously, because I'm not the smartest guy out there by any means. And I've never claimed to be that. So don't come at me saying, hey, you said you're the Houdini of business. I never said that. I said I have good guests. Come on, and I have years of experience in business as well. So that being said, go out there and share one of your favorite episodes with your family or friends. You could use this and tag the podcast page on it within social media. We'd love that. So we want to continue to grow this podcast and to help others around Idaho to have a flourishing business and provide profits for these great Idaho people. So as always, we are sponsored by Dell's Outdoor Advertising. Rob over there is fantastic at helping you come up with some ideas for your billboards because they specialize in traditional and digital billboard space from in the Pocatello and Blackfoot area, and also on the I-15 interstates. So please reach out to him today at 232-6886. If you sign up for a 3-month deal, he'll give you your installation for free or your first month for free. So there you go, guys. Give Rob a call right now at Dell's Outdoor Advertising. Fantastic group. I highly recommend them. Today, I was just thinking, with all the crazy inflation going on, and everything else happening in our business environment and in our national environment, obviously it's affecting us as businessmen and businesswomen. Obviously there's the rate that they want us to believe is 7 or 8%. If you take away the energy and food statistics of things. Well, if I was down on my luck and I needed money just to pay for food and energy, those would be my top 2 things that I would need. So I don't know why they don't include those in the inflation reports, but they should be. So inflation's higher than what they're saying, but that's neither here nor there. It all comes down to how it's affecting you and your business, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. What steps can we take to address inflation in our businesses? Because we're seeing, maybe you're a builder, and obviously the price of per square foot to build nowadays is quite a bit more. And maybe you're not a builder and you're looking at these builders thinking, oh, they're making all this money because they're charging all this money. No, it doesn't work that way. All you business owners and people that have been in the business long enough to understand things, that, hey, their costs, everything else goes up. So maybe you're investing in real estate and other things like that. It all comes down to what's your purchasing power like. Maybe you bought some real estate, maybe some land. Maybe I bought some land 6 months ago. It's up, I think, 6 digits over 6 months right now. But then I've got to look at my purchasing power compared to the growth of that land and see, is the growth that I got on that land similar to what I can purchase things at 6 months ago as today? If so, it's not really true growth. It's just keeping up with inflation. So these are the things you have to look at when you're going through your different modules in your business. The biggest thing is, I would think right now, is streamlining and automating processes in your business. And I know many of you are going to say other things are important, but I promise you, I'm going to get to those things. But streamlining and automating your processes, I've talked about this for years now. The importance of, maybe there's some antiquated way you've done things for years because this is how you've done it. You've had employees that have done this job for you or this task for you. But now with the cost of labor and everything else going up, this task that you're having them do is a lot more expensive than you initially thought it was going to be or initially was. where it could have been maybe a process that you put into place, or something that's automated. So think of different things in your business that you think could be automated. If there's something that happens on a regular basis in your business, either just regular business wise, or if it's a positive or a negative thing that happens, how do you got to ask yourself, when this happens, what do I do next? How do I accomplish this? What does it take to make this this task fulfilled? And if it's something that you can automate, putting in maybe some email sequences, or a campaign, or maybe limiting back the amount of hours that your employees working on it, because you're automating it to a point that they don't have to do much. That saves money in your business, puts hopefully more money into your bottom line. Obviously, I'm not one of these guys that says you got to cut your employees and all this kind of stuff. Obviously, we want to keep employees. We want to keep people employed to the best of our abilities, and change how we need to change within our businesses. So keep people employed, keep people happy, but try to automate and streamline things as easy and as best as you possibly can. Even if it's a manufacturing line, if there's some things that you can cut out and make things happen in fewer steps and make it more efficient, man, it's going to save you more time, more labor, all that kind of stuff. So that would be point number one. Number two would be analyzing your profit margins. And these are important things. You may think, hey, inflation's going up. I've raised my prices. I'm making, it's saying I'm making this much money in gross profits, but then you really got to check what your net profits are, because between your gross profit and your net is all your expenses. Between your gross profit and your income is all of your cost of goods sold categories, your labor, your supplies that do that job, your workers' comp, all that kind of stuff goes in your cost of goods sold. But in your expense category is where you can take a samurai sword and slash things like crazy when you need to make sure that your net profit is where it needs to be. So analyze your net profits, do a year-to-date report on your QuickBooks or Quicken, whatever you use. And when you're doing year-to-date, reports, I know many of you senior business owners probably know this, but don't run it. Say right now we're on the 23rd of the month. Don't run it from January to the 23rd of this month. For most of us, you want to run it to the end of the last month. So you'd run it to the very end of April, because that month has all been it's been captured with income and your true costs and expenses. And that's going to give you your true report of what's going on. Because especially if you're doing it maybe before the 20th of the month and your payroll comes out on the 20th, well, it's going to show you that you're more profitable for that month than you really are, because your payroll hasn't gone out yet. So things like that, pay attention to when you're running reports. And then I would always select in your filter when you're running these reports the percentages of income, so you can see exactly what the percentages are for your income streams, what the total percentage goes into each income stream is coming in, your percentages on your cost of goods sold, and your percentages on your individual expenses in your overhead category. And that can help you understand and look at some of the bigger ones and think, okay, how do I streamline this? Or is it something I can't do without, or can I do without? So make sure your profit margins are there. And if you don't know what your profit margin should be for your business, Dan Packard, a personal friend of mine and my accountant, has promised that if you call them and ask for a meeting with him and say that you heard about him on the podcast, he'll help you run a free report for your industry to help you understand what your profit margin should be for kind of the average for the national average, which could be a good starting point for you guys. Obviously, there's no rules to how profitable you can be as profitable as you possibly can, but that's maybe a good set point for you to understand, okay, this is the national average for the profitability of my industry. And then you can kind of go from there. Obviously, squeeze out as much profit as you possibly can by running a good business, being good to your employees, and being good to your customers. So improve productivity. It's a big one. You know, if you can quickly do things and make things more effective, like we pretty much talked about that within the streamlining and automation process. But man, if there's things you can do to improve productivity that you've been putting off for years because it's doing just fine. I'm still making money. I know it's not the best system. I know I could do something better, but for years and years I've done it this way, and I'm still profitable. Okay, but now with everything else going up, through the roof, employee costs going up around 30 some odd % or more, you really got to look at those kind of things and really tighten your belt and say, okay, how can I make this thing more efficient so I can have this company be around until I want to retire or sell it, or maybe sell it or hand it off to one of my children, or whatever your plans are in the future. You want it to be there. So don't let it catch you off guard. So other than that, we've talked about cutting expenses when where possible. Like I said, take that samurai sword to the expense category as much as you can. That's a given. And there's things that you can easily take care of there. Stock up on supplies is another one. When we're a cleaning company, I own New Clean Commercial Cleaning, as you probably all know that are listening. When the pandemic hit, we luckily had a surplus of the disinfectant, and it happened to be the type of disinfectant that was qualified by the CDC to eliminate the virus. Luckily, it wasn't because of any advanced planning on our part, even though we were able to stock up a little bit more on some other things before it all came crashing. But stock up on the necessary supplies for you to continue to run your business, knowing that there's going to be shortages coming up. There's going to be delays in your supply chain. So anywhere you can, find those supplies and work with your financial institutions and work maybe with the operation line or anything like that to help you carry those extra expenses of bringing on more supplies than you usually do for your business. So that's a big one. Other than that, raising prices is something that we're all having to do right now. Everyone expects it. So it doesn't make you someone bad or evil because you're raising prices. And if your customers think of you as that, maybe they're not the right kind of customers, because if they don't see what's going on in our nation and they take offense to you raising your prices, obviously they're not living on planet Earth. Everyone's having to raise their prices just to be able to maintain the status quo with the money that was coming in back then to make a match with money coming in now, profitability, all that kind of stuff, to be able to provide the same things that you've always been able to provide for yourself and your family and your business. So inflation causes price raising. So obviously, be as honest as you possibly can to your customers and help them understand, this is why we're raising costs. But really, there doesn't need to be too much explanation into it. Just make it happen. If you're not profitable, or you're not as profitable as you used to be, it's time to raise prices. And if you're not profitable, raise prices yesterday. Do it now. Like, do not wait. And if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to lose customers, well, you're going to lose your business if you don't raise your prices. So you can either operate it as a net loss or a net zero and be a non-for-profit and not be able to feed your family, or you can suck it up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, raise your prices like you should have done a couple months ago, and be able to provide for your family and run a company that you want to run. And then after that, be ready for new customers, because when this stuff happens, it opens up new avenues for people that are looking for other opportunities. Maybe some companies are raising prices not as judiciously as they should have, or maybe they're raising it beyond what they should because they're in a very high demand industry, and other customers are looking for other alternative avenues to take. So be ready for new customers and be ready to service them with the same zeal and excitement that you always have in the past. So these are the things, according to Spencer and some of the research I've done, that's helped. I know this works because I've experienced it. I've done this. I've raised prices. I've done all the things. I've tried to automate things. I've tried to tweak things and make things more efficient. And that doesn't always happen. Just it's not going to be perfect overnight. You might try to make something more efficient and it backfires on you, but it's okay. It's trial and error. Try something different. Make something else happen. So don't just give up because, oh, freak, that I tried something and it didn't work. Oh, come on, you're not a quitter. If you want to be good at basketball, you take your first shot and you miss it. You think you're never going to be good at basketball? No, it takes practice. It takes the ability to have some patience and have that ability to say, okay, what can I try next? How can I better my approach this upcoming time as we try to fix this problem? So I hope you guys can get out there and kill it and continue to serve your customers the way you want to, and treat them the way you want to, and make money the way you want to. And you can't if you're not prepared to handle inflation. So that being said, we're also sponsored by my company, New Clean Commercial Cleaning. If you need any janitorial assistance or help, or another solution to what your problems are, we would love to talk to you. You can go to www.newclean.com, and that's NUCLEANE.com, and you can sign up right there for a janitorial solution call. Literally, it's going to take more than 5 minutes. And if you like what you hear at that point, invite us out, take a tour. If you don't like the sound of my voice or our other management's voice, no big deal. But just for saying that you found us and heard about us on the podcast, we're going to give you 2 restroom bathrooms, your tile and grout in those restrooms cleaned absolutely for free. So that's the podcast offer. Give us a holler. But you guys going out there this upcoming week, remember, your business is what you're going to make it. Like, obviously there's things that really, some businesses have really been affected, and some are unfortunate situations where because of the environmental, the climate that's been brought to pass, that they've been forced to close or whatever it may be. But many of your problems in business can be solved by putting into place these points that we've talked about today. So go out there, stay away from the negative Nancy's. Like always, remember, you're in control of your destiny, no one else. Surround yourself with good people that are motivated and not any naysayers. If you have naysayers in your group that you hang out with, get rid of them, toss them aside. They're not doing you any good. And go out there and kill it, guys and gals. You rock, and we'll chat with you all later. Adios.